Welcome to 2014 and Happy New Year to all our listeners and fans around the world, and welcome to another year of Crazy Nights. I'm one of your Crazy Nights co-host Jamie McNichol, and joining me as always is David Fowler. Happy New Year, David.
Happy New Year, Jamie, and Happy New Year to everybody in YouTube land or wherever you are.
Yeah, and Dave, I have to say this at the start before we get the house chores out of the way.
Yep.
Melanie Gilmore, our friend that loved this show, said that
Yep.
we should go for a sponsorship for all the drinks that you drink on the last two episodes. So,
Well, I've got to tell you right now that I won't be drinking much anymore. I've got to lose a little bit of weight.
yeah, well, yeah,
So,
you have
yeah.
to lose a bit of weight if you're going to a tuxedo for the wedding back in August. But
Yeah.
no, I just thought that was a bit funny for what she said, that we should go and ask for some sponsorship from the alcohol companies because she's loving the show.
I'll pay that one, Mel.
So
yeah, but yeah, so laying off the alcohol for a while actually.
yeah, and as we record this, we've got I've been checking the YouTube channel for Crazy Nights. Well, I want to say we hit a milestone, David. We have way over 10,000 views all up since we first started.
Cool.
About 25 weeks ago. So we hit a quarter of 25 of 100 weeks.
Sweet.
We're averaging about 500 to 600 views per episode, and I remember when we first started, we were lucky to get 100 views or something, but now we're averaging 600. So,
yeah.
But over 10,000 views all up, we're almost hitting 11,000 to tell the truth, all up. Just checked the last one. We're hitting targets around the world, so it's all good. But like I did say on the last episode of the year review for 2013, listen to all the KISS related podcasts. Get as many interests and support from not just for us, but the other ones as well. And my goal, and I think David will agree, is to get us up on iHeartRadio along with the other ones as well.
Exactly.
And to show them support. We show support. We do our bit to show our support to these bands that do the podcast, because it takes a lot of...
Like Strange Ways and help me out, what's the other one? What's your new podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a great job and with their podcast as well. So yeah, keep supporting them as well as us, and three sides of the coin, obviously as well.
Yeah. They're not just the only KISS podcast. I mean, they do have numbers behind it, but hey, we're all in the same boat type of thing, sailing the same ship. We might do it different than others, but we're steering the ship towards each other, you know. So
yeah.
But anyway, that's one thing. I do not want to go on to what's just been happening the last 24 hours. I'm being bombarded all over the place by fans as well, and I won't go into what's been happening. They sorted themselves out, but what I do want to say that 2014 for us is going to be the greatest year that we can ever dream of. We've got big plans for this year. We've got things happening. Tonight we do have a very special guest. We just want to get the cleaning out of the way first. Go to our Facebook, and that's been a little bit quiet over the last couple of weeks due to the festive season and New Year. Now we're back into the new year. We're going to be rolling on a carpet, so to speak. But we're hitting it first show of the 2014. We're going smash this out of the ballpark, and we had this person on our show before, and that. But before we do introduce who it is, let's get the cleaning products out of the way first. Go to our Facebook, go to David's Wall, go to my wall. You'll see new things happening every day. Mug of the week. We want your Mug of the Week promo shots or whatever it is, comments, and we'll put them in a bag and we'll come back with a Mug of the Month. And Melanie Gilmore, you were the last one for the last month, and we're going to have another one this month as well. But just go there, like us, support us, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to us, leave some comments. I mean, we are getting some comments. Lastly, and not leastly, our Twitter page is absolutely getting interest and interest and interest. Not just only bands and artists that following us, but we're getting other fans that only use Twitter
Yep.
rather than Facebook to follow us on Twitter. So we got over
Cool.
170 people following us on Twitter as well. So
Yeah.
that's great. And you know, we've got people in the music world, not as bands, but as record producers or music companies that are following us as well. Then we're having a bit of all these conversations and whatnot. But I do want to say one thing, but I can't say anything too much because I haven't got the green light to say anything just yet. There are another side project I want to talk about. Totally off topic for a second. I do have a massive guest lined up. That's all I'm going to say about it. And it's not Kiss related. But I just want to say that for those people who have asked me and basically gave me a bit of shit for not saying anything. So there you go. I do have someone lined up. But anyway, let's go back on tonight's topic. We have got an extremely awesome guest. The guest that was on our show, I'll say about September, October, Dave, if I'm correctly.
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
And this guy is actually requested to come back on this date.
Awesome.
On the 5th of January 2014.
Which is today.
Which is today, Australian time, and he's going to join us in about 10 minutes to 15 minutes time. But what we're going to do, we're going to talk about what we can predict may happen and see if this guest will line us up and see if it comes together. It's a jigsaw puzzle. Yes, we are talking about Alan G. Parker, the director of the new Kiss documentary movie that's coming out later this year or halfway through the year. And I did predict, Dave, when we talked about it, that we know what the ending's going to be, and probably the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. But the way we're seeing it now, I mean, I'm not predicting anything. It doesn't look too gloomy at the moment, but we might have a bit of a spin on the director's point of view, what he thinks might be happening.
Yeah, there's a question I'd like to ask later on, but I'll ask it when we speak to the guest, tell him in about 10 minutes' time.
Yeah, and just before Christmas, I believe they were doing the editing process, and there was a poster, a full-size poster was supposed to be made, and that we're going to see what was happening about that and see if that's been put through the press or whatnot. But there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about. Talk about the interview that Ace said on Eddie Trunk Radio, why he thinks he didn't want to be part of it and whatnot. We'll see what truth and what not, because we did get the truth way before that interview with Ace and Eddie Trunk back in early December. So we're going to clarify some questions that fans have asked us and want us to do some research. What's the actual truth? We know what the truth is, but we're going to go in a little bit deeper due to what Ace has recently said on a radio show with Eddie Trunk. But more importantly, we're going to see what we can expect to see. We know that it's going to expand over 40 years of the Kiss history, but I think we can now know who's going to be in it. I do believe that Ozzy Osbourne was supposed to be in it.
Yeah,
as a special guest, and Alex Cooper.
I think he didn't he tell us that last time, or that'd be awesome actually. I believe he said some of the Motley Crue guys I think were meant to be in it somehow, wasn't he? But we'll speak to him again in a minute.
Yeah, Nikki Sixx is in there, and obviously we do know that Steve Cornell's in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
And Lydia Chris. Well, yeah.
But we're going to roll the tape. We're going to go back onto audio right now, and we'll come back and wrap it up as soon as this interview is done. So here you go, guys. Steve Cornell. Here you go, guys. We'll come back after Alan Parker join us on the night's table of Crazy Nights. Welcome to Crazy Nights, your Australian Kiss show, and win the new year. And this person has been on our show about 6 months ago. We just swapped the season patterns, our summer, his winter. 6 months ago it was his summer, our winter. So I just want to say another warm welcome all the way across the pond in England to Alan G. Park. How you going, Alan?
I'm good, thanks, guys. Last time we spoke, I think I was wearing the t-shirt, and now it's your turn.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're wearing thongs, or what the American people call flip flops and shorts and singlets now, and you guys are drinking hot coffee, hot chocolate, and wearing UGG boots or.
Yeah, I've got to go down to the shops in about an hour's time, and I'm just wondering what to wear, but I know it'll be at least 3 layers.
Well, we do know there's been a bit of bad weather at your end, so you might be able to do the swimming down in the local street, but apparently the sun's been out just recently, so yeah, it looks like it's drying up.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
David, I think we've got an awesome show. It's a new year. We've got plenty of things to talk about in this interview, but also we've got plenty of things to talk about over the course of the next 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of them just has to be this new documentary movie that's coming out.
Definitely.
Probably around halfway through the year this year, if it's still going on ahead. But I think you've got some questions, David, that the fans, and not just the fans yourself, want to ask Alan, because a lot of things have changed since we last talked, and especially the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which we'll get into that later on. But you want to ask the first question, David?
Yeah, when we last spoke, obviously, Ace and Peter had said they didn't sort of want to be involved in the movie. With the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Ace being sort of open to also, playing with Paul and Gene again, have they changed their mind at all about being involved in the movie and telling their side of the story?
No, not at all. I didn't, to be brutally honest, I didn't expect it. What we have to understand about them, and obviously I don't want to sound like a stuck record, but it's worth saying one more time, is this. What they were asking for is more money than you would ever pay an interviewee, even if that interviewee was an original band member, right? Mm-hmm. They also wanted back-end percentage, and they also wanted executive producer roles. And it's not going to work at all, because it's, the way this movie is being made, it is being made for the fans, to show the fans about the great history of Kiss. Mm-hmm. Now, as soon as you give somebody outside the group of people who are making it some form of hand of how to make the finished product look, all you're doing is opening the gates of hell, basically, because as soon as you put something in that one person doesn't like, they will, as soon as you give them one piece of power, they will scream and shout and stamp their feet until it's the way they want it to be, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't have that with Status Quo. Didn't have that with Monty Python. Didn't have that with Who Killed Nancy. We were given a free hand to make a movie. And as Gene said in Classic Rock, and as Paul has been quite vocal about since we did the deal with them, we have a free hand to make a great Kiss movie, right? Mm-hmm. And I just get a feeling if we got too many cooks on board, the soup's not going to taste too great. Mm-hmm. So, nothing at all. Okay, it's fantastic news that Kiss is finally going into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but nothing about the film changes, except after struggling and banging my head against a brick wall about where do we end this thing, well, I think we all know we've got a really good ending now.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, Alan, I just want to ask you a question. How's the editing process going at the moment with the documentary?
Well, it's still quite early days. I mean, we started editing on the 11th of November, and we stopped editing for Christmas on December 23rd. So we'd only really been working about 4.5 weeks when we stopped for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What we have at the moment is about an 8-hour and 20-minute Talking Heads rough version. Now, it's very rough, but basically it's all the great stories compiled together. It runs about 8 hours and 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And as of tomorrow, which is our first day back after the Christmas holidays, we will start massaging it and getting it down. Now, we'll probably get it down to about 3 hours before we will even start adding anything to it as far as archive or stills or animation or whatever. But at the moment, it is a whopping 8 hours and 20 minutes long, and so we've got a lot of massaging to do. But yeah, I think we've definitely got the stories. They're all there.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
did
really of starting to pummel it as of tomorrow morning, basically.
Yeah, because I did see a photo put up, and there's a fan page on Facebook now called "You're One of the Best, You Got the Best" about the movie.
That was very flattering, because that is actually nothing to do with the people who are made. That's not, we support them and what they're doing, but that was actually set up by some fans in England.
Yeah,
which is great.
And
news,
then well, we will
we've
support.
got 5,000 plus members in like 12 hours. That was fantastic news as well.
Yeah, and
nice.
And David and I did plug it on our show to get some fans over there as well. But there was a photo up there of the interview with Ace Frehley that was dumped back in 2000, 2001. That's never been seen. And now I did see the war of some of the comments that people have made up, and they're saying, how can this be? Why isn't Ace on there? Well, we know why Ace is in and on there, and that. But I think people just want to put everything in a small box, and if it's not going to have Ace and Peter on there, well, it's not going to be a complete documentary.
Yeah.
Well, this interview that you have got in the archive now, and you've been editing in the process, this will all tie in with the movie. So basically, Ace is part of it, but not as part of it as a role type of thing.
One thing that is funny, and I find this quite incredible, but yet it's still true, because obviously it's a big rock and roll band, and they all did many, many interviews. Let's just forget about Ace and Peter for 1 second, all right?
Yeah.
Eric Carr and Mark St. John are in my movie.
Exactly.
There's how ridiculous it gets. You've got two guys who are both no longer with us, and they're in the film. Because we live in a digital age, we live in a technical age. It's about 4 years ago now that I made a movie about Monty Python, and Graham Chapman's in it, and he'd been dead 20 years at that point in time. He's in it just as much as John Cleese and Michael Palin. So, the very fact that people are stamping their feet and going, well, I don't want to be in the movie, or I want more money to be in the movie, fine, that's your opinion. But because, for instance, someone might not want to be in the movie, doesn't mean to say they're not going to be in the movie.
Exactly.
And the best part of the joke, as far as I see it, is all these people that are doing all the bitching and Tommy's not there. What's it? Eric Singer had a great line. He goes, "Oh yeah, they call us fake Frehley and the copycat, right?" Okay, so here's the thing about fake Frehley and the copycat that I would like to scream from every rooftop in the world. You know why we have such great footage of Ace Frehley that's going in the movie? 2 words: Tommy Thayer. Tommy was the one who sourced the footage for us, So, for God's sake, can we not give this guy, apart from him being a great guitar player, can we not give him a break?
Yeah, exactly.
That is the bit that I find strange.
He's a great stand-up guy to begin with. He's been working behind the scenes with Kiss for years, so exactly. Don't know why, and he's a great guitar player in his own right. So don't say why people have to bitch about him and Eric Singer for as much as they do. It's just ridiculous.
That's the thing, Dave. Well, that's the thing. What you just said, they bitch about it. And we know why they're bitching is because of the makeup issue. But like we said before in numerous of episodes, if you were the guy next in line to call up to play in that band, you would have done exactly the same thing. And I think people just missed the point here to saying, oh, he's in the Ace makeup, he's trying to imitate Ace and all that. When I saw Tommy Thayer here in Australia last year, I didn't see Ace Frehley.
No.
His guitar solos are totally different than Ace Frehley. And
they're probably 90% better than anything Ace Frehley could play right today, this moment. What is very funny about a lot of these people who are banging in the drum and the best guitar solo I ever heard Ace do was on a track on Destroyer. Really, but that wasn't Ace.
It was,
that was the session guy that Bob Ezrin brought in. So where's your argument? You know?
Yeah. It was Dick
There's a famous story that I was told during the making of the film where some guy came up to Ace at a fan club convention.
Yeah.
And gave him a copy of Alive 2 and asked him to sign it and told him that this guy said, I think the guitar work on side 4, by the way, is among the best stuff you've ever done.
Oh, God.
Bob Cooley.
Yeah.
So well done, Bob. You know,
I think I changed
that's fantastic. Well done, Bob, you know. Bob said to us, I love this. Bob's story is amazing. Bob said, Ace was led on the floor in the studio, and Ace said, hey, buddy, how did I do? And Bob said, I looked down and said, those were the best guitar solos you ever played.
Yeah. He does. And then Ace will go out and play poker one night, comes back the next morning, hey, my guitar solo. I go, yeah, the best you ever played. It's the same answer all the time. Same answers all the time. But I think I want to get into this because this has been suggested to me to put it across to you, Alan. Early December, after the 30th anniversary of Eddie Trunk's radio show Bash in the Hard Rock Cafe, Ace and Peter was rejoined together for 13 years since they last played. They played 4 songs and all that. But on the show, a couple of days later, Ace did put his 2 cents worth in about the reason why he will not be part of this documentary. Now, he thinks that Gene and Paul and Doc are the guys running the show. They're the ones that got their hands in the pie type of thing. We know for a fact that's not the case. They might have some insight of what to do and what to say, but seriously, from that interview with Ace Frehley and Eddie Trunk, there's a massive misinterpretation going on.
Well, one thing that came out in that interview that I was quite surprised by, in fact, I almost fell off the chair laughing at, was Ace gave this wondrous speech which included the sentence that Kiss's security guy, I'm presuming he's talking about Danny Francis, had got in contact with his security guy, and that was the only way he knew about the movie, right? Okay, here's the truth. It might hurt a few people, but here's the truth.
Yeah.
Myself, my line producer, and my producer all spoke to Ace's manager directly. We made all kinds of promises. We bent over backwards at one point to actually take a separate flight to flight. So, in other words, forget sending Ace to where we are. We will come to where Ace is. And still they turned us down. Now, how that actually translates to the fact that he was approached by someone's security guard, I don't know. I really have not got no clue at all. I'm not saying that at some point in time Danny would not have contacted them, because Danny was helping out trying to organize the interview, so of course. But I know for a fact that from our side, and by our side I also mean the Kiss camp, he was probably contacted by at least a dozen people, and still he's not in the movie. So do I sleep all right at night? Like a baby. Yeah, thank you very much, because I tried to get the guy in the film and he's not in the movie. And you can't do more than that, you know? There's only so much you can do. And at that point, once you've asked and you've been told no, then really you just got to get on with doing your job.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was like you, Alan. When I listened to the interview, I was literally cracking up on my chair laughing. I'm saying, I've got an interview here. I've got an interview done about 5 months ago, sitting here. Why wasn't now Ace is saying this, that it's all backdoor politics, that went through the back door, been blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying, Ace, what is going on, really? But
I mean, the other side of it as well, if we want to be really brutally honest about it, is this. You know, a Geezer and a Blonde, which is my company with Alexa Morris, who's also my producer, right, is not it's not some small company operating out of a wood hut on Hyde Park or Clapham Common, right? If you want to find the telephone number for a Geezer and a Blonde, or you want to find out from where we edit in Soho or what studios we use, you do a little bit of homework and you can speak to me on the studio phone in like 5 minutes flat, right? So presumably, Ace Frehley, if let's just say, for instance, that everything Ace is saying is true and he was not contacted properly, right? He can get to me in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If he wanted
Awesome.
to be in this movie and wanted to make the right compromise and to come along and say, hey, Alan, maybe there's been some cross wires. Can we speak directly and we can maybe come up with something we can make this happen? Yeah. It would be just about as easy as getting hold of, say, the guy down the road, Getting hold of Alan Parker is not getting hold of the Pope. It's not getting hold of the President of America. It's not getting hold of the Prime Minister. It's getting hold of Alan Parker. And it's quite an easy task if you want to go out there and do it. I think it took you guys 2 private messages on Facebook, so it's not rocket science.
No,
it's kind of doable.
Yeah.
Well, there was a question that just came into my head, Alan. You have not spoken to Ace personally yourself, have you?
We've never spoken to him personally, but we have spoken to his management on God knows how many occasions, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got his mobile phone number. I was given his mobile phone number directly, but every time I tried it, it went straight to voicemail.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So obviously he doesn't answer his messages.
Yeah. I think we can be leading into this, but before I do lead into that direction, what can you talk about? That I mean, you say there's over 800 hours of footage to massage.
80 hours. No, that's again because we're both getting tongue-tied. 8 hours and 20 minutes is where we're up to now, as far as Talking Heads is concerned. That was from about 60 hours worth of interviews that we did. We haven't put any archive in yet. We've put no animation in yet, and we've put no stills in yet.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna, in the next month and a half, or month and a bit, we're going to get those 8 hours down to about 3 hours, and then we're going to start adding to it again, and then we'll start banging it till the end of March, early April, until it looks like a movie. So
yeah,
cool.
Has there been any talk lately of a soundtrack coming, or that's still in the early days yet?
A lot of things like that are very early, in the running. I mean, obviously this year is a big year for KISS. It's a big anniversary year. It's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame attached to it.
Yeah.
It's got some big touring ideas attached to it. There's also a few other things coming, from the KISS marketing side. Maybe more restaurants and, there'll be more memorabilia and merchandise and stuff. So we're only a part of their year, So we will come along when they need us to. So to say right now, will there be a soundtrack or, will there be a T-shirt? I don't know. Probably yes, but the truth is right now that hasn't even been discussed yet. So
Just hope we get some merchandise.
Yeah.
No.
I think we can say safely there'll be some. Yeah.
I just want to say this before I do go on to my next question. The posters, has that been completed, or you're still getting that all sorted out?
In the last 24 hours, we got another very big step closer to showing you guys the poster.
Cool.
I am hoping that by the next 2 weeks, there will be the poster will be given to Kid LaRue, and the poster will therefore then appear on
KISS Online.
On KISS Online and various other places, and and then onward we go from there.
Well, hopefully we'll be the first people to put the poster up or the photo up before KISS Online get hold of it. So,
well, at the moment, obviously KISS Online and Classic Rock Magazine here in England, or in the US it'll be KISS Online that get it first, and in England it'll be Classic Rock Magazine that get it first. So, but they will, if you look at how fast the press release got out around the world with the photograph of me and the guys, I would say that within about 5 minutes of both of those people getting it, it'll probably be viral. So it's pretty good, like that.
Now, with all your work that you have done, I mean, you've done Monty Python and you've done Hello Quo.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying this, they have reformed as a reunion, especially now with Monty Python, and they sold out numerous of shows in England at the moment, and Status Quo did their reunion. We know for a fact now in the last 48 hours that's not going to happen with KISS, but I do want to say this. Is the last chapter of this documentary going to focus on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction?
I mean, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for me as a filmmaker is a bit of a blessing in disguise, because when you have a band that's 40 years old but still very active, The question is, where do you stop it? Because as soon as you stop it somewhere, within 6 months it's going to be old-fashioned because they'll have done something else. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it does have to have an ending. It can't just taper off into some music and then start within the credits past. But you know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now has given us a nice full stop for certainly the chapter that we're talking about. You know.
Yeah.
What I find quite funny, and it's very flattering, but it's also very funny, is on my Facebook page, which a few people hearing this will have seen. There's an awful lot of people. You know, oh, we want Alan Parker to do a documentary on Slade because, you know, Jim and Noddy and Dave and Don are still alive. So the odds of Slade playing together again, if Alan does the documentary, are massive. No. You know, the fact that Status Quo played together again, or the fact that, you know, some 4 years later, Monty Python have announced that they're doing, you know, I wish I was as big a guru as people believe I am. You know, it's literally a case of good timing. I mean, it really is a case of good timing and no more. What made me laugh a wee bit, and it's been going on for a while, but at least now that, you know, Paul has done his Twitter stuff, it's become less of a problem for us making the movie. Is even as late in the day as Kiss Cruise 3. You know, one morning I was just sat on the boat having my breakfast, and a guy, like, I didn't know this guy in Adam. I'd never met the guy before in my life, right?
Right.
And he comes and he sits down across from me and he goes, "You're Alan Parker, aren't you?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I got stuff I could tell you that nobody knows." Really? So you're some guy from Europe in a Kiss T-shirt, and you think you know something that I've not been told? And I'm actually upstairs on a VIP pass with the band.
Yeah.
Is there something you can tell me? You know, this morning, just before we started our conversation, I clicked on to Facebook, right? And I saw a comment on Facebook wall by a guy called Ian Lewis. Now, I don't know who Ian Lewis is. Ian Lewis is a fan, right? You know, we're Facebook friends. We've never actually met outside cyberspace. I don't think we've even had a private conversation on Facebook, right? But I love the quote he said was, he said, "You got all these Kiss fans out there who have been talking for years about Kiss going into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now that it's finally happened, right? And most people know that it's organized by Rolling Stone magazine, who can't stand Kiss anyway. That's why it's taken so long to get here, right? Yeah. Now it's finally happened. All that the fans are doing is bitching like hell about the fact that who's going to go and get that award or who's going to play after it. Does that actually matter?
Not really.
As long as Gene and Paul, who, you know, let's forget for 1 minute now, let's just forget everybody apart from Paul and Gene, right? So let's just say that on the night they were the only two people that went up and got it. Is that not all right?
No, exactly. I mean, it was their vision.
Is that not fine? I had a guy. Just finally, I had a guy who like yourselves, runs a podcast. I won't say which one because there's plenty of them, you know. And I don't think we've been shooting 2 weeks over in New York. I don't think we've done 5 interviews. And he starts private messaging me, and he goes, "Hey, man, you know, I think there's something you should understand that I know that you don't know yet. But, you know, Ace and Gene and Paul and Peter are doing a load of gigs in makeup next year." I go, "Really?" Because, you know, 24 hours ago, I did a full-length interview with Paul Stanley, and believe me, nothing's further from his mind. And you're now telling me that it's happening. And I go back and I said, "Look, man, you know, it's not my place to comment on this. I'm just making a movie on the band, but I don't think you're right?" Within about 30 seconds, he deleted me and he blocked me. Then a friend of mine comes on and goes, "Have you heard about blah, 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 blah?" I go, "Yeah, the guy commented on something, then deleted." "Yeah, apparently he's now on about 5 Kiss fan forums, slagging you off and saying that you don't understand Kiss."
And you've been a fan since you're 14 years of age.
I said, "Well, you know, if I don't understand Kiss, then that's something, you know, but as a wise man said in a very big rock and roll magazine, the man being Gene Simmons, the magazine being Classic Rock Magazine, we waited for the right director, and we found the guy we wanted, who also has Kiss tattoos, which proves some integrity as far as that band is concerned." You know, and that's the deal. That's what's gone on. So, I don't, it's nice that people go, oh God, Alan did Status Quo and then they reformed, how wonderful. Alan did Monty Python and then they reformed. Well, not quite. It's like 4.5 years later, so I don't know what part they think I played in that. But, just because I do a documentary and it might be on your favorite band, if everybody's living, it doesn't necessarily mean I've got a magic wand. At the end of the day, what I do is make movies. I don't decide who goes on stage holding whose hand. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Now, the question I want to ask before I pass it over to David again, there's some fans saying that due to the market of the cinemas or the theatres here, they won't actually have it up there for a short, long period of time. It'll probably be one session, that will be it. Because of what happened with Detroit Rock City.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't much of a marketing thing with the theatres and the cinemas. The ticket prices were down and all that type of stuff. How are you going to change that for the fans to come out and watch these? I mean, there's nothing much you can do. You're just directing a documentary. But
to be fair, this is what we always say, no matter who we're working with. And okay, Kiss are a very big band, and they're a big band worldwide. And the truth is this: once you pass the film, you do the deal, and you pass the film over to the distributor, which whether it be Universal or Fox or Warner's or who it ends up being, right? That then really does become. It's down to them then what happens next. Okay, that we do get a say in the matter, we do get consulted over it, but it's basically down to them. Now then, as far as the plan is concerned, this movie is going to be a cinematic movie, right? But then even that one line that I've just said complicates matters straight away, because if you live in, say, Sydney or London or New York, it's a lot simpler for it to be a cinematic movie because we're spoilt for choice for cinemas. So they can go and they can hit the place hard and they can find out how many places want to show it, right?
Yeah.
And then they can decide, okay, where we're going to put it and how long do these places want it for, I know that some rock and roll movies only do one-night stands, while other rock and roll movies can be in a place a week or 2 weeks or whatever. We've had both in our career, so I understand how that works, right, completely. The other thing to remember also is this, right? If you live in a place like where I come from originally, so let's say Blackburn, Lancashire, that doesn't have too many cinemas, or if you live in Cripple Creek in the middle of the desert, right, completely, then the first problematic factor is this. This is not a gig. This is just a film, but you may have to travel to see it.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in this world that they're going to take a look like somewhere like that and go, yes, fine, let's put the film in town. Because they know full well, if James Bond is playing on Saturday night to 7 people, then this is a non-starter. So you've also got to look at the demographic. But as we both said earlier, the good news is that that's not my problem. By that time, all I'll have to think about is, doing the right interviews and waving at the right people. That'll be it. By then, by the time this film goes into a cinema, we will be at least 3 or 4 months into doing a film about who knows who yet, but somebody else, basically. So, we'll hand it over, we'll get the thing ready to move, but by then we'll already be with another band or another whoever, and we'll be doing another, and we'll be working on something new.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that question, Alan, because I'm just going on the same pathway of especially with Metallica, that documentary they had.
Yeah, Metallica. Is it the Through the Never one or some kind of?
Yeah, Through the Never. Yeah, Through the Never. And also, early last year, they had the Def Leppard Viva Hysteria. They played it at the cinema for one night. The concert,
I think it was here
in
Melbourne.
London, in London, Through the Never in London opened at the IMAX, which is a big 3D cinema down in Waterloo.
Yeah.
The first night it was completely sold out, but having said that, Lars Ulrich was here doing a Q&A as well, so you understand now why it was sold out. I went that first night, the place was rammed, there wasn't a spare seat in the cinema, It was only on for a week. Now, I'm a big Metallica fan. I went back the following Friday. I think there was 11 of us in the cinema. So you do see why maybe some cinemas don't necessarily see rock and roll movies as the fastest way to make a buck.
Yeah.
Because they necessarily aren't. What you tend to find with a great deal of rock and roll movies is, yes, it's great and it's flattering if they go into cinemas, but you only really start finding out their genuine worth when they're released on Blu-ray and DVD.
Exactly.
The question would be, did they do the numbers? And if they did the numbers, yeah, fine. The Quo film is a good example. I think from the day we announced it was going to be done and the day we put it onto pre-sale on Amazon to the day it was released, it's done, I don't know, through the ceiling. More copies than anybody ever expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It flew, but that's what rock and roll fans want. They want to own something. They don't, they don't want to borrow your album. They want to own the album.
Exactly. And play it, and everything's same with some kind of monster film that came out. So that was aired here at the Melbourne Film Festival. About 10 years ago, and I think it showed maybe 2 or 3 times at the festival. And then it didn't get shown again. And then obviously it came out in a DVD and everything. And
well, at the end of the day, as I said a few minutes, that I saw the Metallica movie twice in 1 week. Right, I loved it. I enjoyed it. It's a great 3D film. But I got to tell you, I got my one on pre-order from Amazon for the Blu-ray release on the 27th of January, and I am buzzing waiting for that day.
Oh, same here.
As of that day, right, and we all know how this one works. As of that day, no one tells me when I can and cannot watch it. As of that day, I'm in control.
Exactly.
If I want to watch it 5 times in 1 weekend, I can do. If I don't want to see it for 12 months, it's up to me.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the thing all rock and roll fans want. They want their own copy in their own home, so they've got control of it.
Yeah. So, Alan, I just want to put like a hypothetical question out there. You want to do a Metallica documentary the same way you done with Kiss?
If I have a wish list, and I've said this for a long, long time, if I have a wish list, I would love to do Metallica, I would love to do Motley Crue, I would love to do Slade, although I know it's a far smaller market, but I would love to do Slade. And, then ultimately, at some point in time, I would also love to do something on the Beatles, although I know there's been a million things done on the Beatles, but I love them so much. It's like, that would be my, I'd love that to happen, right? Having said all that, as a company, we also want to move forward and do bigger things and more diverse things as well.
Yeah.
So we're also looking at scripts and we're talking to actors. We're also looking at the huge possibilities that are out there with animation as well, because, all of our films have got small animated pieces in, and they're done by some really good animation guys. So where would be the problem in doing a film that's animation from start to end? That could be a great concept.
Exactly.
So I think there's an awful lot of possibilities that we could do. And I think just right now, probably the same way as when I was in Edit with a Quo film, I know there's some good offers on the table. I know there's some good things that we're talking to people about, but I'm just not ready yet to make a decision on what that might be. At the moment, everything in our world, from eat, sleep, get dressed, and walk out the door in the morning is all about Kiss. For obvious reasons. If it wasn't, we'd be doing the job wrong. But at the moment, it is. It's like everything's about Kiss.
There's definitely 2 bands I'd love you to, or if it does come to you, it'll be either AC/DC and Def Leppard. Loved you guys. Yeah, I mean,
Def Leppard nearly happened. It almost did, and that's not to say that might not be revisited again one day, because Joe's a lovely guy, and that would be something would be good to do. And as far as DC, I loved early DC. I'm not anti. Just so the Kiss fans get this, I'm not anti Brian, but I thought Bon was the man. Completely. But and it would be flattering to do, but we don't even have a contact in that camp, so that would be something that would have to be really thought about before we could think about go forward with it. Really,
Well, you might have to move down to Australia for about 8 months to do the thing too. So.
It's funny. Someone said to me, "Wasn't it a great summer in England this year?" I said, "I don't know. I missed it. I spent the whole summer in America." So I don't know. Maybe summer was good here this year, but I don't know. I wasn't here for it. So You know.
But David, you got some questions to regard the movie?
Yeah. Out of all the interviews that you've done so far, the 8.5 hours worth of footage that you got, what's the one story from that you can sort of tell us about without revealing too much, from someone outside the band that had a good story?
I mean, there are some good. There's some great stories. I mean, I think one thing, whether it will make the final cut or not, I don't know. But one thing that was good to see was we did a really good interview with Bob Kulick down at his studio.
Yeah.
And Bob was sort of saying about all the various things that have happened in all the years since you auditioned in that loft and first got to know Paul and Gene. And he said, what's incredible, he said, is the fact that, and he said, not if everybody knows he played with Meatloaf and they know he's been in various bands and blah, blah. He said, but what they don't know, necessarily all of them, is just how generous Paul and Gene are as people once they get to know you. He said, it's only down to Gene that I actually play the guitar solos on 2 massive big Diana Ross singles.
All right.
It's only down to Paul that said, look, man, we're doing this album and maybe you should do some writing and, we're all going to toss things in the bag and see what happens. And before you know where you are, Bob has a song on Unmasked. And I think, it's dead easy at the moment to be, everyone can, they've got people. I don't understand the concept of calling yourself a fan and then slagging people off.
No, exactly.
That I find very difficult to take in completely. Like, I'm a fan of Kiss, right? Do I think Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer are wonderful? You want to bet your arse I think they're wonderful because it means Kiss still exist.
Exactly.
What I don't understand is all this, if it weren't for Ace and Peter. Paul Stanley has got a fantastic comment, and I won't get the wording right because I haven't thought about it till this second. But it's something along the lines of, we wouldn't be here without them, but we couldn't be here with them.
That's about exactly the right quote.
And I go, that is the best line in the entire world to cover the entire subject, while we're doing all this talking and while all the Facebook stuff and the MySpace and all the various sites, forums and whatever is going on, has everybody forgotten a guy called Eric Carr?
Exactly. I mean, he was in the band.
Probably one of the greatest drummers on the planet, never mind in the band.
Yeah. I mean, he was good enough to even, a drummer to even play in Metallica if he can. I mean, he always he was a Metallica fan as well, and all that. And he could have played that style if he wanted to.
And he looked like Animal out of the Puppets.
Has everybody forgotten a guy called Bruce Kulick?
Yeah.
Who was probably, again, not only one of the best guitarists Kiss has ever had, but probably one of the best guitarists out there. End of story.
Exactly.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just find it all a little bit of a strange. Ace says this has not happened, and Peter, this has not happened. Well, sometimes if you want to blame somebody, the best place to look first is the bathroom mirror.
Exactly. I mean,
because you just might find the person in the bathroom mirror whose fault it is. And I think that's their wise words, and their wise words where this is concerned, for sure, So, that would be my thought.
Yeah. Well, my partner said a great line about the reunion, and, screw me once, I can forgive you.
Yeah.
Screw me twice, shame on you.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think that's just the case of time, End of the day, the one, whether or not any band gets up on stage live and ever plays again is down to that band, right?
Well, actually,
However,
what my partner actually...
we can make a movie about that band's history. I mean, you were talking about Metallica just a few minutes ago. Well, if we made a movie about Metallica, surely a big part of the first 25% of that film would be Cliff Burton.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cliff's no longer with us, but would that frighten me to death? No, because when Cliff was with us, he did lots of interviews. Would I knock on Dave Mustaine's door? You better bet your arse I'd knock on Dave Mustaine's door because he's part of that story.
Exactly. The first year, a couple of years of the band, he's a big part of Metallica's early sound, and should get the credit that he's given to him for it.
Well, I know David
Yeah.
here wants us to speak to Dave Mustaine because he's a Kiss fan himself too. So I know Dave would love to talk to him. But like David said to me a couple of weeks ago, you got to be careful what you speak about with Dave Mustaine. But you got to get him in the right time and
Right
I
right.
think you do, but I think I think it comes over that he's he seems to be a nice enough guy. I mean, if he's on a good day. I mean, when the Big Four DVD came out, there's some good footage backstage, and everyone, there's a great piece of footage of him and Lars having a conversation about their kids. Now, if that's not great, what is?
Exactly, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know Dave and I would definitely want to speak to Dave Mustaine. We'd love to.
Yeah.
Whether it's on this show or the metal show that we're working on.
Probably getting more for the metal show, then we could talk about Megadeth and all that. So I really loved their version of Strange Ways, which appears on the War Chest box set. Really, really good version of Strange Ways, which is great. Which I think, I don't know whether that was meant to be for the Kiss My Ass compilation or not. Because originally I think they were going to do they were going to do Detroit Rock City or something apparently.
Yeah.
Well, who knows, David?
I'm probably going to have to go in a few minutes, guys. But
we got. All right, I've got one question, and David, you got one question? I'll have one question
and
now.
then obviously we'll see you again when the next time we speak. I don't know what clothing we'll be wearing, but we'll definitely have a film to watch. Yeah.
But I got one question to say. With all this talk of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and do you really care who shows? I know you probably said it. Do you really care who shows up and play? Would you like to see the whole surviving members play up on stage together for one last time?
Well, here's the thing, right? And this only came up. Someone mentioned this on Facebook a couple of days ago, which is why I bring it up. That's a nice thought. There's only one slight problem regarding that thought, and that is the fact that given the history between themselves and Vinnie Vincent, does anybody really believe that Vinnie would be there? Or would be invited, or I think you'd have to be a very strange source of Kiss fan before you thought that would be true.
No.
Me personally, what do I think? I think this: it would be nice if the award was presented to Gene and Paul and Ace and Peter, and it would be nice if the band that played was Gene and Paul and Tommy and Eric.
Yeah.
Because to me that would be the perfect ending to it, because that bookends the group. It also tells you the beginning and the end, and it also puts on stage the important people as far as keeping Kiss alive, and also as far as making Kiss happen in the first place.
Yeah,
it's done. That's done. Having said that, surely even if it's only in reference, there should also be something said verbally about Eric Carr, about Mark St. John, about Bruce Kulick, and about Vinnie Vincent. Because love them or loathe them, at one point in time they were in Kiss.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty sure that Gene and Paul will sort of talk about them in the induction speech as well, as they did when they got the word that they were getting accepted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think Gene mentioned, Eric and Mark and all the rest of the living members as well, or living and gone members, I should say.
All the members.
Yeah.
All the members. Yeah.
It is what it is,
Dave,
but I don't, I think people are reading way too much into it,
Yeah.
Really honestly. I mean, look at Blondie. There's a fine example. Blondie are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the night that Blondie got inducted to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the original lineup wasn't even there in total. And some of them weren't even invited, but came on their own ticket, So that just proves one example of what can or cannot happen, The fact of the matter is that for a long time now, that band has existed in the lineup that, people will go and see this year.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened to Hart a couple of years ago in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're only one of the original members up there, but there was a lot of bad blood.
Yeah.
And that is the same with Kiss.
Well, end of the day, the band has been put in there now. As far as the only as I said earlier,
Mm.
the only two mainstays throughout their entire career is Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to be 100% pedantic about it, why not send the two of them up there, and then afterwards they could do something acoustically? We know that's not going to happen, but it would be right if it did. You know.
All right, Dave. One last question because I've got to do some swimming down the road. No, not got to go out shopping. So.
I've got to get my flippers out and go to the shops.
So, in the end, when you've vetted it all and everything, what is the final length that you really sort of want to get it down to?
I would think probably.
The movie, yeah.
I think probably about 2 hours 20 minutes.
Okay.
That's normally about the length of film I make. I do make long ones, and I think probably somewhere in that region, somewhere between 2 and 2.5 hours for me, is about the length of time you need to tell the story of a band who've been together 40 years. This I can speak about with some authority because Status Quo have been together exactly 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When we did the documentary, so we know that's real. We know that's proper. So
well, just as a joke, Alan, I know that you like to collect a lot of items, a lot of memorabilia, and that. How about sending those 8 hours to David and I to us to look at?
No,
hey, you never know, David. Yeah.
Right now, we don't know what's going to happen. We go back tomorrow. We've just taken 2 weeks off for Christmas. We go back tomorrow. It really is, at this stage, it's really in the lap of the gods. We've got a lot of viewing to do. There's a lot of different things we got to do, and it's just going to be great. But we're a long way from knowing what the final cut's going to look like. But we'll get there. It's always, people say to me, do you not get worried at this point in time? I go, no. Do you think a guy who paints houses for a living gets worried when he's only done one room? He just moves all the gear out of that room and paints another one.
That just reminds me, I just got to get this off the top of my head before I forget it. Bruce Kulick has been married last night in America to his fiancée, Linda, Lisa. Well, we want to congratulate them. All the blessings for them, but also with this project, we can't wait. If you are still planning on coming down to Australia for a premiere, we want to be the guys there with you, standing beside you, doing the Q&A, and it'll be run by this podcast, of course. Not to blow our trumpet, but we would love to be there and just to pass the microphone over to the fans and asking you questions about the movie and whatnot, but. You all thought that out. But there is one other question. Are you going on the Kiss Cruise this year?
The Kiss Cruise number 4?
Yeah, you going on that one this year?
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely going on there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there. Well, that's another thing. Well,
I think it would be rude not to this year.
Exactly.
I think that'd be fun.
Well, I'll just be newly married just before that cruise, so my partner and I are going on there next year. So we'll definitely have a drink over a table as well. So it'll be good to catch
Look forward
up.
to seeing you. Well, look, guys, we'll talk again once we're done. Thanks for speaking to me today.
No problem.
You enjoy the sunshine. I'm going to go and find 2 scarves and a hat.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget to just drop us a line anytime, and if you want us to post that thing that you talked about earlier, we'll post it up as well.
Right, okay, brilliant. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.
See you, Al.
Take care.
Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, we're back from a great interview there with Alan Parker, and on behalf of Crazy Nights, we want to thank Alan Parker for joining us. David, there was a bit of more insight than last one. Things have changed a bit, and things are being cleared open about what Ace said on the Eddie Trunk show of his whereabouts of why he won't join.
Yeah. No, it was very another insightful interview into the movie. So it was great to talk to Alan again. Very nice guy to talk to. Great Kiss fan like you and me. Yep. So very much looking forward to this movie coming out later in the year. So let's hope everybody gets behind it.
Over 8 hours of footage.
Yeah,
He's
eight,
got,
no, eight, 8.5 hours or something. I think
yeah,
he said that's.
and he's trying to bring it back down to 2.5 hours. And
Yeah, but I think he said in the end because I just asked him at the end there. He said about he wants to get it down to about 2 hours 20 minutes or something. I think, but
yeah,
it's just under 2.5 hours.
and I believe
Which
there's
should be.
believe he said there was another interview that still need to go just to polish it up a little bit. And that,
Did he?
so.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
animation's got to get in, the music got to get in.
Yeah, they got to sort of whittle down the 8.5 hours
Yeah.
and all that, and then add the music in.
And I love the way that I said towards
And-
the end that can we have the full 8 hours version, just you and I, Dave? Because
Yeah, he kind of didn't say nothing.
he laughed. It
Yeah,
wasn't-
he laughed. Yeah.
You never know.
Didn't say
We
much.
might just be lucky. You know, we might.
No, he won't send us like 8.5 hours worth of kids.
Well, going back onto last week's episode, how we should get some sponsorships, and the person Melanie Gilmore did say that we should get you to get some alcohol beverages sponsorships.
Yeah.
Well, why don't?
let me contact CUB tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, going on.
Oh God,
Go-
people. I must say, I will be off the alcohol for quite a long time now. I've been given a challenge by my mother to actually lose some weight, so I'll be off the alcohol from now. You won't see me half tanked on the podcast anymore. Thank you very much.
No. Whoa. I'll give. Well, because of the new year, David, I'm going to give you a Crazy Night challenge for the year.
Yeah.
You know, it's my wedding coming up later in the year.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah, I did realise that. Yep.
All right. If you can lose 20 kilos, that's a big.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to lose that much.
All
but
right, I'll go 15 then. We'll go 15.
10. I want to lose 10.
All right, I'll go
That's
10.
10.
All right.
10.
But I'm going to double or nothing. Your mum said 10. I'm going an extra 10, so that's 20. So it's double or nothing.
That'll be too skinny then.
Well,
But 10 will be
okay,
enough.
okay, all right. We'll go double or nothing, but I've got to lose 10 kilos. But more importantly, I'll lose 20 kilos. You lose
Alright.
10. By the
Uh-huh.
time the wedding comes,
Yeah.
right? This is a challenge
Yep.
for both of us.
Mm.
We'll lose some weight, right?
Yep.
That means I've got to do some more exercising, where dancing like I did on New Year's Eve or whatnot. I'll do it, but
Yeah.
we'll make it double or nothing. We'll do a 20-kilo challenge for both of us. We'll see how we go.
I'm not going to try and lose 20, but
No,
20 is too much for me.
No, listen to what I'm saying. The 20
No.
to 20-kilo challenge is
between us.
between us, yes,
Yeah.
to fit into the tuxedo for the wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
And then,
We can. We'll talk about more about
yep, but
the
that's
actual
challenge.
wedding off air.
Yeah,
but-
that's the challenge we got for
Yeah.
the Crazy Night. But talking
Mhm.
about sponsorship, we're going back onto the interview. Yeah, Alan Parker sponsors us. Just give us some goodies and we'll put up on air.
No. No.
But Dave, what
We'll-
did you get out
We'll
of that?
keep promoting the movie and all that, of course.
Well,
No,
I
it's,
just want to ask you, what do you get out of that interview? I mean, there's a lot
Well,
of things.
It's, to me, what he's basically saying about, about the, trying to, what he was saying about people, were, having more about what's happening than he does, and when he's actually working on the movie and speaking to Gene and Paul the whole time, Well, the movie's going to be a great thing in the end, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all the stories. And the one where actually I really like that when I asked him about what's a good story for someone who outside the band. And he related a story about Bob Kulick and how Bob was saying that Gene and Paul are very generous with people, where he would say, "Oh, come and right with us on this and blah blah blah, and like so he gets writing credits and all that, and being generous that way. Yeah, that was good to hear. That a good thing to hear. You know,
Yeah.
it was, yeah, sticking up for friends and looking out for them and everything.
I think what I got out of it more was
Mm.
putting it to rest the accusation that H. Fairley said on Eddie Trunk. Now, he's entitled to say what he wants to say, and he thought
Yeah,
his way, or his version was that the only way that he knew about the documentary was from his personal bodyguard.
yeah,
Well, Alan put that into rest and that, and for all
Mm.
those people out there that wanted to find out a little bit more, go to the fan page. You wanted the best. You got the best. It's not run by Alan or anything. They support it. It's run by some fans in England. They started up a
Yeah.
fan page. They got over 5,000 people there, I
Is
believe.
that the one where? Is that the page where there's a photo kiss with Alan and
Yes,
the
yes, yes,
three?
yes.
That's
yes,
a fan page, is it?
yes, that's the fan page
Okay.
for
Yeah,
the movie.
cool. Yeah.
And Alan was speaking about that, and we want to plug that fan page again for them
Yeah.
to get some support, because they supporting that page as well. They don't run the page, they support, and they've got the full support behind that. So, guys, fans, ladies,
If you want,
everybody.
if you want to keep updated about the movie and
Yeah.
all that, go to that page. It's even though Alan and his crew, blonde, what's the name of his company, blonde and. But yeah, just go and support the page if you want to keep up to date with what's happening with the movie. They are starting to work on it again from actually from today, because they had some time off over the Christmas break, but they're now back working on it as of today. So
And he did have a bit of a surgery on his lower legs. Don't know if you know about that, David, but he did have a bit of some treatment done,
mm,
and he was recovering around the Christmas period as well. But he's doing fine now.
yeah,
He's doing fine, and great to see that he's back to himself. He was in a lot of pain a few weeks ago and that, but he's fine now,
yeah,
Alan Parker. But good thing about it is one thing I did get out of it again is he's going on the Kiss cruise. He's gonna
you won't be able to actually meet him and all that, and
Oh, we'll meet him.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get him back on the show before by the time it's finished. He said he's willing to come back on his show, because the next time he'll be on, it'll be completed.
completed and ready to roll with it and
Yep.
have it out.
And also, he's open to come to Australia if it goes to plan, to premiere it down here as well, and we're going to be
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah.
So it's up to Dave and I to get our heads together and get that organised. But, the fans want to go to a Q&A premiere, we're going to try and organise that. And if everything works to plan, if it's coming down or not. So that's all we can say.
Yeah.
But, guys, it's been an absolutely wonderful start of the 2014 year, the
Mhm.
calendar. We've got great things happening. We've got more guests lined up. We've got other people who've been on the show come back on. I've been requested by Loretta Carr that she may come, not may, but she will come back on our show very shortly. I don't know when yet. I'm still working out on her. And Loretta Caravella is coming back on the show. And Robert V. Conte, who did You One of the Best, You Got the Best.
Yeah, I think we were just talking to him the other day. Yeah, we'll get him on again soon. Great bloke. Yeah.
And
So
I will say this, and I'm not going to blurt it out, because both David and I have not got the green light from the producer, but we're in talk with some other people. We're just waiting for some things to come our way. So the window of opportunity keeps opening for David and I. How it goes about, I'll just quickly say this. How it goes about is, I will send a message to, say, Joe Blow down the road, and that Joe Blow will come back to me, and then when I get time, or with David's free, I'll get a message sending off to him, and we have a three-way conversation trying to organise a show for you guys. Well, this time, David and
Oh,
I,
pardon me.
this time David and I sent a message to 2 different Joe blokes. So we're gonna wait and see where the green light comes up. So that's all we're gonna say. We're not gonna say who it is. It may not even be.
No, we may not. Let's hope it happens. But we'll see.
Now,
Yeah,
Dave, your segment.
that's all I gotta say.
Yes, but David, your segment now. We're gonna
Oh,
go
okay.
back, we're going to go back to Mug of the Week because anything been posted up. This is your segment.
Oh, hang on. Better go back to Facebook.
I know I posted something up. Now, fans, before David looks into some stuff, please don't leave it up to me all the time. We want to see your Mug of the Week comments and posts and whatnot. I know Melanie Gilmore did post up about you should get yourself a sponsorship deal with the alcohol beverages that you've been drinking, David.
I'll pay that one.
That's the best one.
But I'll pay that one. But Melanie, yes, as I said, I'm actually not going to be drinking for quite a while, so I'm going to lose a bit of weight. So
Yeah.
there we go.
Well, I'm back at football next Tuesday, this Thursday, so it's all good. I know there was one of Jane and Paul sitting on his chair, and Eric and Tommy are boot polishing their boots.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what they're trying to say there, but pardon me.
I know exactly what you just said then.
Yeah, I just don't know what the artist was trying to say there. They're having a dig at Paul and Gene.
Or Tommy and Eric.
Or Tommy and Eric, yeah. Not too sure. Where is it?
Who's that?
I like the Gollum.
Oh,
Like,
I know what was the Mug of the Week.
what?
It was that Minion Rock and Roll All Night. He was singing Rock and Roll All Night. Next minute, his mate comes on, swings on the ball like Miley Cyrus in the background with Paul Stanley, joins him doing Rock and Roll All Night. Halfway through the chorus, Gene Minion swallows the microphone, he chokes on it, spits it out, and hit Paul Minion right in the eye. Was that one? All right.
Yeah, well,
I think it's been a bit quiet.
I think we'll give it to
Melanie again.
I think we'll give it to Melanie again. I'll pay her on that one.
You need to get all right. That's your homework. You got to get a sponsorship from the alcohol.
Oh God, yeah, I don't know about that.
Well,
Not alcohol.
Carlton United Brewery sponsored the Crazy Nights podcast. But no, guys, this has been awesome. We're going to be, bringing some new things into this show. New look. I've got a new backdrop as people saw in the last one of last year for the Christmas special, and that. So yeah. But just keep joining us. Well, I just want to say this, David. Overnight, we have almost reached 11,000 views all up since we started. So it's all good.
That's cool.
So we're about 300. Well, no, not even 300. We're about 200 odd now, shy of 11,000 since we first started.
Yeah.
So, and this one hasn't even gone up yet. So we could probably break the record of 11,000. So.
Yeah.
But no, if you guys want to give us a challenge, all right. We'll make another segment. Don't call it Daredevil Dudes, but we'll call it the Night Challenge. If you want to challenge us to do something, as long as it doesn't get us hurt or anything, and it's legal.
Yeah, it's legal. Yeah.
Legal.
Not
we'll
doing any illegal shit.
We don't want to do anything illegal. We want to do something legal. So if you want to dare us to lose 10 kilos each, we'll do that. If you want me to lose 20, I'll do that. If you want to make me to lose 20, I'll lose 20. And we should start a fundraiser for it, Dave. What do you reckon?
No fundraiser.
Why not?
Just do it. I don't need a fundraise to fucking lose weight.
Yeah, we'll get Kiss back down here for this year. No, they won't come this year. Well, we might do a fundraiser, but I'll just put it out there. Just put it out there.
Fundraising bullshit.
Why not?
Not to lose weight. Nah.
I'll just lose weight between my ears, so who cares?
I'm leaving that one alone.
That's all good. No, if you want to dare us to do something as long as it's legal, Oh,
Yeah.
I'll be willing to do anything, but no legal, because I got the police station right across the road from my house.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can do.
Yeah, I can do it.
Let's make
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
make
yeah.
it. Let's make
I'll
it.
break the
Yeah,
law.
James.
I'll break the law, and Dave can bail me out.
Yeah. Yeah. See ya.
But nah, join us on Facebook.com at Kids Crazy Night Podcast. I just got a bit of what you. Oh no, you don't. Okay, I don't think no, you don't. Okay, we can't. We've just been told that we can't get people the challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I'd love to, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah. Well, I agree with her. To be honest.
Who knows? Who knows? If they want to do something, they do it. So
Mm.
anyway, ask us some questions on Facebook. I've been doing a random thing now, of putting up all the members of Kiss and who's your best song or best performed album, and I think I'm up to Tommy Thayer now, so that's coming up. But I love seeing all the comments on that. There's been no boasting, there's been no name calling, and that. But yeah, I'm up to the last member of Kiss now. I'm up to Tommy Thayer, so I'll be posting that up on my wall very shortly. I'll just say this: I reckon Monster is Tommy Thayer's best performed album. It's just a bit more fresher. I think he found his true self. Sonic Boom is not a bad album, but I think he was more comfortable with Monster because of so many years of not doing an album with Kiss, or Kiss, Gina Paul not doing an album. I think Monster was a bit more fresher, a bit more polished. But yeah, but that's just me, you know. But what's your opinion on that? What's your favourite or best performed album of Tommy Thayer? What's yours, David?
Yeah, I'd agree with yeah, Monster. As far as song wise goes, I'd have to say, Wall of Sound. Yeah, what he's working on that was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right then. Okay, guys, go to our YouTube channel at Crazy Nights 1. We've got over 60 subscribers now, and we've got almost 11,000 views. Go to our Twitter page. We've got heaps of all people joining us and liking us on Twitter as well. We're over 175 people now since I've been looking at it. So, yeah, and just go to our Facebook page. Kiss, I'll say it again. Crazy Nights Australian Kiss Podcast on Facebook, and you never know, we might just have a random joke and can start off a thread and we can take it from there. But no, just come and join us. Join us next week. There'll be another show as always. There'll be plenty of things to talk about as the year goes through, and I'm looking forward to the challenges of every week and all the Kiss news that comes our way. So, David, it's been another absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it has been. Yep.
Yep. And David, you know what you got to do. You got to go and get that sponsorship for yourself.
No, I'm not getting a fucking beer sponsorship.
Come on.
No.
Come on. Nah, I just like to rip the shit out of David. He doesn't like it, but oh well. That's me. Anyway, we'll catch you next week, guys. We'll see who we got next week. Alright, bye.
They try to tell us we don't